Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now is lawyer and former court administrator Rae Canady, who is running for Municipal Court Judge for Las Vegas. Ms. Rae Canady, thank you so much for coming to talk to us here at The Pulse.
Thank you. It is my absolute pleasure to be here.
So, Ms. Canady, you are running for a Municipal Court Judge for Department 5. Please tell us about yourself and your background before we go into other questions.
Sure. So I actually used to work at Municipal Court as an administrator, which is why I decided to run. But I've actually been in the profession for over 25 years. I started out as a social worker. I've been a child advocate, a mediator, an educator, a civil and criminal trial attorney, and a court administrator. And so working as a court administrator, I saw that we could do better for our community, and so I decided to run.
May I address you as Rae?
Absolutely.
Rae, what kind of cases are usually handled by the Municipal Court Department 5?
So Department 5 doesn't really mean a whole lot to the public. There are 6 departments at Las Vegas Municipal Court, which simply means there are 6 judges. As the cases come in, they're randomly assigned to one of the departments. The only significance that the department holds is that each of the 6 departments does have what we call a treatment or specialty court. So Department 5 currently has a court for youthful offenders, and so if I'm elected, I would be overseeing that specialty court. But Las Vegas Municipal Court handles civil municipal code violations, so like if you get a ticket for something, it handles traffic matters and criminal misdemeanors that occur within the city limits.
All right, that's good to know.
What is it in Las Vegas that motivated you to run for judge? Do you have any issues that speak to you personally, or something to do with the community or in a court system?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, I was a court administrator. What court administrators do is they hire, train, and supervise all of the employees that work in a courthouse except the judges. Another thing that the court administrator is supposed to be able to do is to set policy for the court. So essentially the rules. And it was difficult to do that as an administrator because the judges wanted to take that role on. And there's nothing wrong with that, except most of the policies that I advanced to the judges that I thought would help our community were shot down. And so for me, once I'm elected, there are 2 main goals that I have in trying to create a community-centered court that is transparent, innovative, fiscally responsible, and efficient. The first is that I want to create a community advisory council. I want to gather community leaders from across the valley to meet with on a quarterly basis. I want to be very transparent with the data from the court, and I want them to help me brainstorm ways in which we can improve the outcomes for folks who come through our system. And the second way is by implementing research-based practices, which, because we have decades of research that tells us the best ways to most effectively work with people, and we don't use it, and we really should.
I agree.
Well, Ms. Canady, I saw your interview with Esmeralda Padilla Gould in Vegas Vibe Junctions.
Yes.
It was one thing that caught my attention. I thought that this thing is already happening in our era of fast internet, telephone, high tech, things like that. About sending a
reminder?
notice, a reminder to
Yes.
court appearances. I didn't know that they're not doing it.
They're not doing that at Las Vegas Municipal Court.
Can you explain what the mechanics was?
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to remind people about their court appearance. When I talk about these decades of research that we have, that's included. We know from research that if you send a letter or postcard, or if you call someone to remind them about their court hearing, it cuts down on them missing court tremendously. It's the same reason why your doctor reminds you about your doctor's appointment.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
Because life happens and we forget. A lot of times when individuals are appearing, in particular for the first time, if they've been arrested, they're appearing in front of the judge. They don't have a pen and paper. They don't have their cell phone with them to write the court date down.
Yes.
They're given the court date and they're expected to check later to find out exactly what that date and time was. What I wanted to do was make sure that we were reminding people, and we actually could have gotten the software for free from Stanford Law School's Legal Design Lab. They were willing to integrate it into the court's case management system for free, and the judges said no. And I was very disappointed by that. And the response was, well, we're not here to hold people's hands. And I think that we actually are here to hold people's hands. I think we're here to help.
Exactly. It's as you said, it would save the county and the city money why not incarcerating them on the jail for a no-show, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's efficient and it's effective.
Yes, I could imagine.
So before becoming a lawyer, you used to do social work. What aspects of the court can someone with the heart of a social worker bring to the table versus someone who is not?
So, yeah, so when I say I have a background in social work, it's not just an undergrad. I actually have a master's degree in social work.
Oh, wow.
And I decided that I actually wanted to be a social worker. Instead of going straight from graduate school to full-time law school, I worked for 5 years while I went to law school part-time in the evenings and on the weekends. Because I knew that if I went straight to law school full-time, I might understand the theories of social work, but I really would have never practiced them. And so it was important to me to get in the community and work. And so I worked for 5 years as a social worker. It took me 5 years to get my law degree. What I think actually having that degree and having practice in the community brings is a different level of empathy and understanding, because you've worked with those populations.
That's
You
right.
understand the struggles that they've been through. I think it brings a different perspective, having worked with variety of communities of color, individuals who are lower in the socioeconomic status. It's one of the things that I think will bring sort of the heart to a court,
Yes.
right? There's the law, but then you have to have compassion. And so
Right.
as an administrator, one of the things that I wanted the judges to do was to make individual decisions about a person's ability to pay fines. Right now, if you get a ticket and you make $200,000, your fine is the same amount as somebody who's making $20,000. And that's not equitable. And we can figure out what people's ability to pay is really easily. I think for me, having a social work background and understanding that times are tough for a lot of families, those are the kinds of
Right.
things that I bring to the table.
Ray, I have this, there's a nagging question that is the country is facing right now. And I'm gonna ask this, like since you're gonna be a jurist.
I sure hope so, yes.
Do you agree with the DC Circuit ruling that a former president, already former president, and had committed crime while he was still president, that the DC Circuit, that he's not immune from prosecution? What's your take on this?
Yeah, so because I've been on the campaign trail, I admittedly have not watched a whole lot of TV. I haven't had time to really sort of keep abreast of current events. And judges, when we're running for an election, judicial candidates have some rules around the kinds of things that they can comment on.
Okay. Yeah.
One of those things is ongoing cases.
Oh, I see.
But I can say this in terms of my own personal philosophy, that when someone engages in intentional conduct, and this is the law regardless of who you are,
Yes.
that you should not be shielded by immunity.
That's right. It's like, it's as Judge Lutig would say, once you're out of the presidency, you are a citizen,
You're a citizen.
Yeah.
And the truth is that nobody is above the law.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm afraid we only have a couple of minutes left for the show. So Ms. Canady, what would you tell our voters out there?
Well, first I would say please vote. Please vote. Our communities of color do vote, but they generally wait until the general election in November, and they don't pay quite as much attention as the primaries in June.
Yeah.
But here in Nevada, we have a special rule. And so if you are in a primary and you get more than 50% of the vote, you win outright as a candidate. You don't
Yes.
have to go to the general. That's a huge incentive. So
Yes.
people who are listening and my message resonates with them, I'm hoping that they will use their voice, go to the ballot in June, and not wait until November. Everyone is going to get their mail-in ballot by May 22nd. It is now automatic. You don't have to ask for it. You will get it automatically. Early voting is May 25th to June 7th, and then the last day to vote is June 11th.
Well, Rae Canady, candidate for Municipal Court Judge in Las Vegas, Department 5. Thank you for allowing us to talk to you today. Good luck on your race.
Thank you. It's my absolute pleasure. I'm a huge fan of the Pulse and Vegas Vibes Junction,
Thank you.
and I am honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. I'm Sam Buban. Please join us again next week here at The Pulse.
And I'm Sarah Obal. Thank you and God bless your week.